The project to dismantle the clock tower atop Town Hall is now complete. You may recall the operation kicked off just after noon on Friday, May 24th, at the start of the long Memorial holiday weekend when there was less motor and foot traffic. Dodging a rainy day or two, it took crews a total of 8 days to take the tower down. You may recall ACMi News Director Jeff Barn covered the beginning stages of this project last week. This week, he covered the final 3 days of the operation and hitched a ride on a 150-foot crane to see just how bad things were on the roof of Town Hall.
Day 6 of the tedious but absolutely necessary job of dismantling the clock tower atop Town Hall. At first, it was thought this job would take 2 to 3 weeks. But the president of Fox Painting Company, Inc. of Arlington, the contractor in charge of this delicate operation, says they are ahead of schedule. And from what they've been working on, this job could not come soon enough.
It is in very, very poor shape up there. A lot of the stones, you can stick 3-4 fingers inside. That's how badly deteriorated they are.
Are you surprised by how easy some of the pieces of the clock tower are actually just being extracted?
No, I'm not surprised because it's in very poor shape. You know, over 100 years of New England weather will deteriorate anything. And add the fact that they never did any maintenance to it. I mean, these stones are just coming right off, and we're dismantling it piece by piece, as you can see in the pieces that we've recovered, because I believe that their plan is to rebuild it and get it back to the original state.
We managed to hitch a ride on the crane with operator Bima Paisani to get a first-hand look for ourselves as crews were chipping away at the aging structure. When you're up here on this platform, it really shows that this clock tower is in a major state of disrepair. This is the result of years and years of harsh winter storms, of the sun baking down on it, and torrential rains day in and day out, year after year, decade after decade. This is also the result, let's be frank, of years of just blatant neglect, which really underscores the urgency of this dismantling job and the fact that this job has to be done very quickly. If something had been tended to, and correct me if I'm wrong, 30 years ago, you may not be doing this today.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, a little bit of maintenance with everything goes a long way. If they, had a mason up there maintaining the motor joints and the stones, this wouldn't even be necessary today. This has been a can that's been kicked down the road for far too long, and this is the end result of lack of maintenance. Now we have to take it down and rebuild it.
By day 7, roughly 90% of the clock tower was removed. Crews were using jackhammers to clear away what remained of the foundation. What ornaments could be used in the future, including the clock, were cataloged and stored. Years of neglect caused extensive water damage to the building, namely the room directly below the clock tower, which has been shuttered now for a year and a half. You're going to have to seal the building off because that lion's hearing room, especially the ceiling, that's destroyed.
No, we're gonna do a door on top so that they're able to get to the roof, and we're also going to fix the roof there and completely seal it so there's no more leaking going on. Because as it is right now, every time it rains, that water ends up inside on the second floor, and that second floor is getting destroyed. This is something that, besides safety, it had to get done, or the building, you were going to lose the building, to be honest with you.
Day 8, the last of the debris is off the roof and in the dumpster. A temporary tarp now covering the affected area. As crews clean up on the roof and in front of Town Hall. Town Manager Jim Feedy says now the next phase begins. I talked to you about this before, but it will be replaced. You're dismantling it very gingerly, very laborious. Obviously, it's going to take time.
Yep.
But it will eventually be replaced and pretty much look like it does in much, much better shape.
Yeah, it will be. We have certainly recorded it in all of its glory via certain 3D laser scans of various rounds, and we've created a point cloud model. So we've really captured its essence in sort of time, at this point in time, how it exists in space, and the detail, the dimensions. So we have all that information, and now it's going to be, okay, what is the best way to rebuild this clock tower? Do we find, someone to restore or rebuild the terracotta elements and the limestone elements? There's a number of different ways to do it. You could use replicated materials. So there's a number of options for the town that we're going to have to weigh the pros and cons of moving forward in terms of not just cost, but availability, timeline, and just make sure that once we do rebuild it, that it looks as if it was always there and nothing ever happened.
But for now, Arlington's skyline, which for more than a century included this, will, at least in the foreseeable future, have to get used to this. For ACMi News, I'm Jeff Barnes.
Our thanks to the crew at Fox Painting Company, Inc. for all the information. For the latest on the Town Hall reconstruction effort, just go to the town website, arlingtonma.gov. Again, that's arlingtonma.gov.